Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Murlidhara Radha Murlidhara Radha Jaya Gaura Chandra Jaya Gaura Chandra Jaya Gaura Chandra Jaya Gaura Chandra Nitya Gaura Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Nitya Gaura Hari Bo जय श्री नाम संकीर्तनम की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः seeking the blessings of all the assembled devotees, especially Adipurush Prabhu, and then uh, so we discuss something today which is inspiring. Um, So today is a very auspicious day, appearance of Shiva's Pandit, or also called Shiva's Thakur. Um, so there's this Pancha Tattva, like five different personalities, and they represent five different moods. Um, and they are like very worshipable in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, in this Bhakti lineage, whatever we are following. And then that is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Lord Krishna himself in the mode of Srimati Radharani. Nityanand Prabhu, who is like represents Guru Tattva, or the teacher. And then uh, Gadadhar Pandit, who is like Lord's most intimate energy, the spiritual energy of the Lord. So that is Srimati Radharani, the Hladini potency, or the pleasure-giving potency of the Lord. So that is represented by Gadadhar Pandit. And then Srila Advaita Acharya, who is like a Shambhu Tattva, and then a mixture of Vishnu Tattva. And so Shambhu Tattva is Lord Shiva and his associates. So it's a different energy altogether. And then finally, we have Shiva's Pandit. So who represents most of us all. So he's under the category of Jiva Tattva. Of course, he's a Shaktyavesh avatar. Um, and then it's also said Shiva's Pandit is the incarnation of Narada Muni. Just like Srimati Radharani came as Gadadhar Pandit, and then Lord Shiva came as Advaita Acharya. So Narada Muni came as Shiva's Pandit. And then we can connect to Shiva's Pandit very much, because Shiva's Pandit exemplifies the living entity, and then we are all living entity, the marginal potency. We are not God, so This is the basic principle of bhakti path, that we are living entity and God is God. We will never become God. So this is a basic principle of bhakti path. And then Shiva's Pandit is the best example of living entity, how to serve Lord. And then are various pastimes about Shiva's Pandit, and today we will try to touch upon a very few. So, as discussed, Shiva's Pandit is the incarnation of Narada Muni. So, the place where actually Shiva's Pandit belongs to, so it's called as Sri Hatta in eastern Bangladesh, the present day Bangladesh. That time it was all Bengal. Now the place is called as Sayal Hut, Sylhet, but Sri Hatta, so the actual name when Britishers came and colonized, so they changed the name. Um, Hatta is a dwelling place. Sri is auspicious, so that's an auspicious dwelling place. Um, Srihatta is like it's like the eastern part of Bangladesh, and then Mayapur is the main place. Navadvip is the main place where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed his all pastimes, uh, good amount of the pastimes. So, in order to um, assist more closely in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, um, Srivas Pandit and his family moved from Srihatta to Navadvip. So that was the intention. And when they moved? Even before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born. So that shows that, so the connection is not just in this particular pastime realm, but the connection is eternal. So they sensed, and then they came, the Mahaprabhu is going to appear. And they're elderly, so they're contemporary to Advaita Acharya, who's like a very fatherly personality to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So they're elderly people, both Shivas Pandit and his wife Malini. And then at the time of Mahaprabhu's appearance in Mayapur, so Shivas Pandit and his wife, they were there. And then Malini Devi, she was helping Sachi Mata, in all the process. And then, of course, as a nurse, Malini Mataji. She was taking care of um, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very much in the early days. So, just like Narada Muni, so there is another great sage called Parvata Muni. So they are always together, Narada Muni and Parvata Muni. So this comes in the pastime of Mrigarari, and then so other pastimes. So the Parvata Muni also came as a brother of Srivas Pandit, and his name is Sri Ram. And then there are other brothers, Srinidhi, Sripati, and then so there are a lot of brothers. So what happened? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, now he's like a young boy, and then he was very naughty, and then creating all sorts of mischief. Then everybody were everybody were praying that if Nimai, the childhood name of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if Nimai would become a devotee of Lord Krishna, it would be great. So after that, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu once went to a tour, and then he went to Gaya. And then after that onwards, so there's a place called Kanai Shala. So there he got the first darshan of Radha Krishna. And then after that, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very sober. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he returned to Mayapur, so he was completely absorbed in the holy names of Sri Krishna. And then he was encouraging everybody, so um, now when we compare the pastimes of Radha Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the bhakti path, especially we as a worshippers of Radha Krishna, so the highest exchange, loving exchange, like a jiva and Lord. So the highest loving exchange or the connection, the topmost exchange between Jiva and Lord is the performance of Rasa Leela. So where Lord Krishna exhibited, his most compassion, and the love towards the living entity, So, and then that particular thing is so precious that not everybody is allowed. Only the exalted, most exalted people who can fathom that particular love, who can withhold that particular love, so they were allowed. They are the gopis. Even Yashoda Mai and then even the Gopa boys, they were also not allowed in the Rasa Leela. So only the exalted gopis who have purified themselves, Kruta Punya Punja, by tons and heaps of pious activities or bhakti. So they were given the opportunity to enter into the Rasa Leela. Now, why that is coming all of a sudden into the picture? It is said Golokera Prema Dhana Harinama Sankirtana. So that prema, that loving exchanges, the wealth of that loving exchanges is what we think, oh, male and female. So we understand male and female means what? It is the physical union. So that is the most intimate thing. But actually it is said Ulokera Premadhana Harinama Sankirtan. So that particular love is exhibited in the form of taking to the names of Lord Krishna. Even gopis in the Raslila, what was happening is like gopis were glorifying Lord Krishna. So that is the most intimate thing. And then that particular supreme exchange is replicated in the house of Srivas Pandit. So the Srivas Angan, which is the house of Srivas Pandit, so there Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started the Harinam Sankirtan. So, and then after he returned from Gaya, so where he became more sober and then more serious, so he started the whole, Harinam Sankirtan. And then, as said, in Rasalila, not everybody were allowed because people who have that qualification who can take it, so only they were allowed. We can say, oh, Harinam, what is there? Everybody can sing. But you see the mood. Mahaprabhu started this, Harinam Sankirtan in Shiva Sangan with his most confidential associates. And then they are naturally having that particular bhakti or spontaneous love towards Sri Krishna that, you know, Mahaprabhu said, oh, so we are chanting Harinam, but half of the time in a day we are sleeping. So why to waste time in sleeping? Because this is the most precious thing that is to relish. And then we are in sleeping, we can't do anything. So let us start nocturnal kirtans. So all through the night they were, doing kirtan. And then people were haribol, they were ready. So we see that how much advanced the devotees are. Like here, it's very difficult for us, Bhagavatam, okay, 8 o'clock over, so we tune off. It's not easy for us to, discuss, stay for long, So, but thing is, the devotees there are so exalted and they gave priority, they understood that, this Harinam Sankirtan is the goal of life. So that's where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started giving, these particular holy names. And then another thing is very important. When something is restricted, so then it becomes, people find a lot of curiosity. What is happening? What is happening? So Shivas Pandit was living in that particular area, and then in the Shiva Sangan, they were doing all the night kirtans. So then people started hearing, okay, something is happening, and everybody wanted to join. Something curious is happening, everybody wants to join. But the thing is, not all were allowed because they'll not be able to withhold this particular exchanges, so that particular ecstatic kirtan. So not all people were allowed. And people who think they are qualified. And when they are not allowed, what will happen? They feel envious. Oh, am I not allowed? I'm a Brahmana, I'm following all the regulative principles, and then I'm not allowed. What is that so superior, what you are doing, that I can't come in? So, what will happen? People become envious. They think they are entitled, and then when they were not allowed, so they felt envious. And then what will happen? The next step after envy, they started spreading misinformation. Okay, I'm not allowed in this. Let's see how this will continue. And then the Brahmanas, they started spreading rumors that you see in Shivas is holding something fishy in overnight, every night, and then disturbing us. And at the same time, they are performing all illegal things. So and then they cooked up a lot of stories, and then they complained to the local uh, religious head. I mean, not from the Vedic Dharma, but they were under the rule of Mohammedans. So they complained to the Qazi, and the Qazi took that as an opportunity, and then he came and then he threatened, the devotees that, oh, you can't perform this particular kirtan. And then he broke the mridanga, which is the major instrument in the kirtan. And then all the devotees were devastated. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not there that time. So and then the Qazi was going back. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, and then he saw Kasi, but Kasi left and then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left. They didn't acknowledge each other. And when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, he understood what happened. And then the rest is history. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu charged towards Kazi's house in the night. And then, so there was a big civil disobedience movement. And then later Kaji understood, that what was his mistake. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mercifully um, forgave him. So this is what happened, and then this all incident happened from Shiva's Thakur's house. So that is what is about Shiva Sangha. And then another very important lila. So this, what we understand from this previous pastime is like, you know when some things are restricted, so it's natural for people to get offended. You know and then so we feel envious. Oh, why are we not being allowed? But the thing is, we have to sit back and contemplate. So there are so many things which Lord is giving, and then which are publicly available. The Harinam Sankirtan, okay, for so we should be grateful for whatever facilities Lord is providing. And then when we will be grateful, when we sit and contemplate, for each and every valuable thing. The fact that we are getting fresh air, without air we cannot survive. The fact that we are getting fresh air, it is a mercy of the Lord. So we can be grateful for whatever we are getting. So, so overcoming envy is like we can be grateful. Start contemplating whatever we are getting. And then when we contemplate deeply, then we feel that, okay, we are being protected by the Lord. And that attitude of gratitude will help us overcome this envious thing that I am entitled to this, I am entitled to this. Even with our knowledge and everything, it is coming from Lord. So, so that's the thing. And then, uh, so one day, just the day before Vyas Purnima, Um, so Vyas Purnima is the day when all the religious organizations of the Vedic Dharma, so they honor Vyasdev, who is the foremost teacher who compiled all the Vedic literature for the benefit of humanity at large. So they honor him, as a mark of respect. So one day before that, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu declared in the Association of Devotees that tomorrow, no, today, there is going to be a very special devotee, coming to Mayapur. And then everybody was interested. Oh, very special devotee. Okay. And then we need to search. Where is that person? That's what Mahaprabhu said that, and then he left. So everybody started looking. Who is that new person who is going to come to Mayapur today? Then who is that very special person? So And then, so they are all looking. And then this is a pastime, it often happens in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. So all people, so there is one devotee's house. He's called Nandanacharya. And in his house, a lot of people come and then they hide, so, and then people start searching, oh, where is this personality? Do you have some new guest in your house? Do you have some new guest in your house? And then ultimately they reach to Nandanacharya's house. So which is very close to our ISKCON temple in Mayapur, the TVP. So, everybody will hide, and then all the devotees catch them, and then they greet them, and then so on and so forth. So the thing is, this Nandanacharya's house. So all the people recognize who is that personality? It's Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Sri Nityananda Prabhu is the most intimate associate of Lord Chaitanya. And then he came one day before um, Vyas Purnima to Mayapur. And then all the devotees recognized, okay, he's Nityananda Prabhu. Okay. But they don't know the glories yet, because only Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu know. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu not yet revealed his glories. Okay, he's a great personality. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, fine. They received him well. And then next day is the Vyas Purnima. So you have to have the function, you have to observe, and then you have to felicitate Vyasadeva. So Shivas Pandit, it's in the house of again Shiva Sangha. All the most important places, things happen in Shivas Pandit's house. So Shivas Pandit said that, okay, Nityanand Prabhu, you are our latest guest. So please take this garland and then honor Srila Vyasdev. So Nityanand Prabhu took the garland and then he said, okay, I'll do. And then he's holding like that. She was said, oh, why are you holding? I mean, please go ahead and then honor Vyasdev. And then, okay, I will do. Like that couple of times he told. And then he said, oh, why is he not going? And then why is he not putting the garland around Vyasdev? And then Shri Nityanand Prabhu waited. And then he waited for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to come. And when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived, Nityanand Prabhu actually put the garland around Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is to establish that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose Shaktyavesh avatar is Vyasdev. Literary incarnation is Vyasdev. So he knows. So as Balram, he wanted to directly felicitate Lord Krishna. So and then everybody were very happy. Then they understood, okay, this Nityanand Prabhu is not an ordinary person. And then so so there are a lot of interesting pastimes. One day, mm, uh, so one of the most important leelas of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Mayapur is the uh, Mahaprakash Leela. So where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited the maximum of his opulence. And what is the opulence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Is compassion, audarya. So he was giving mercy to everybody. And what is the best thing we can give? Okay, we are compassionate to somebody on the street. So what is the best thing we'll give? We'll give them some wealth so that they can be uplifted from their misery. So uplift. So wealth. And what is the wealth we discussed in the beginning? So it is Golokera Premadhana Harinam Sankirtana. So the love of Godhead is the topmost wealth. You can give some Lakshmi, people purchase some things and then they'll be happy for some time. I can buy one car, but after 3 years there's a new model coming up. So people, that those material things always, there is never ending thing. But the love of God once received, people will be blissful even with so much opulence or even with limited material opulence. So that particular wealth Mahaprabhu was giving very freely in this Mahaprakash Leela. So and then mm, everybody were coming. So this particular Mahaprakash Leela happened in Srivas Thakur's house. And then it happened for almost 21 hours. So everybody were coming and then they're saying that please bless us, please, empower us. So the first thing in Shiva's Thakur's house, what Mahaprabhu did is in the Mahaprakash Leela, first thing he said is, call Dukhi. And everyone said, call Dukhi? Who is this Dukhi? And everyone said, who is this Dukhi? Who is this Dukhi? And then Shiva's Pandit brought one old lady. Her name was given Dukhi in the beginning because during her birth, so it was all not so great. And then everybody were calling her Dukhi because nothing great was achieved by her. And then she was also morose. And then Mahaprabhu, the first thing, out of everybody, Mahaprabhu chose her, to give compassion. And then Mahaprabhu gave her the Harinam Sankirtan, the Premadhana. And she was so ecstatic. She was like jumping with bliss. Never she tasted that particular happiness in her life. So everybody was so happy seeing her, you know. So that is, she is the first recipient of Mahaprabhu's mercy during the Mahaprakash Leela. And then after that, Shiva's Pandit's family tailor, Darji. So he is a Mohammedan. And then Shiva's Pandit said, he's so grateful to me, so grateful to me. Please bless him. And then Mahaprabhu blessed him. And then he started jumping in ecstasy. The holy names of the Lord, never ever people saw he behaving so much in ecstasy. And then he was ecstatic. And then Mahaprabhu said, you know, call Narayani. Narayani? Narayani is the niece of Shiva's Pandit. She was only 4 years old. And then Mahaprabhu called her. And then Mahaprabhu chewed a betel nut. It is not recommended for us. But Mahaprabhu chewed a betel nut and then kept that betel nut in the mouth of Narayani. And Narayani started dancing, jumping. She started feeling so much ecstasy, which lot of elevated devotees in that particular gathering, they never experienced. Like that, Mahaprabhu was blessing so many people. Now the thing is, why all these people were chosen first? Because they are connected to Shiva's Pandit. And Shiva's Pandit is the most intimate follower of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this establishes a principle that if we are connected, to the intimate associates of the Lord, then our way ahead is guaranteed. Our spiritual upliftment is guaranteed. So this is the process which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is setting the example that if we want spiritual advancement, we should always follow in the parampara. We should always be connected to his servants, servants of his servants, like that. So that's what, and Shiva's Pandit is the foremost amongst Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's intimate associates. So that happened. And then there are other pastimes. So one one devotee, Shiva's Pandit is like uh, a very compassionate person, just like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shiva's Pandit asked, okay, Mahaprabhu said, is there anything else I can do for you, Shivas, in the Mahaprakash Leela? So Shiva's Pandit was thinking, what can I ask for? And then he said, Mahaprabhu, if possible, please forgive your mother. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mother is Sachi Mata. And why Mahaprabhu should forgive Sachi Mata? What she did? She was critical of Advaita Acharya because of some misunderstanding, you know. And then she was very critical. And Mahaprabhu he couldn't tolerate that, you know. So he couldn't tolerate that because Lord doesn't like somebody being critical of his, devotees. So, and then he was like very upset. And then Shivas Pandit was asking Mahaprabhu, can you please? Forgive her. You see, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was asking, she was asked something, she was Pandit never asked for himself. He was always thinking about others, how others can be, uplifted, how others can be benefited. This is another very important aspect of, Shiva's Pandit, what we can learn that, a real devotee, a Vaishnava, always thinks for the benefit of others because he himself is so happy and satisfied with the love of God. He don't ask anything for himself. He feels that, oh, how others can be benefited, how others can be benefited. He's happy in himself. One who is completely satisfied. When we took a big feast, and then people will say, oh, this is another kaja or this is another pancake, please take. Oh, I'm satisfied. Please give it to others, please give it to others. So that's what Shiva's Pandit. He's so satisfied, he's always thinking about others. And then, though Mahaprabhu was so unhappy with his mother, because Shiva's Pandit recommended, initially Mahaprabhu said, no, I'm not ready to forgive because she was critical of my devotees. But later, because of Shiva's Pandit's recommendation, Mahaprabhu, forgave. This happened in Mahaprakash Leela, in the house of Shiva Sangha. And then another famous pastime, there's a milk drinking brahmachari, a brahmachari, he's celibacy, you know complete pure celibacy, and then austerity of food, only taking milk, very austere. And Shiva's Pandit said, oh, he's a very very important person, very regulated person. So he allowed him to participate in the night kirtans of Mahaprabhu was not feeling happy. Mm, something is wrong, something is wrong. Is there anybody new here who is not supposed to be? Then Shiva's Pandit said, Mahaprabhu, so there's one brahmachari I brought him. He just survives on milk. He doesn't do anything illegal. Please, can you? He said, no. He said, how do you think just by performing that austerity of only drinking milk, you can purchase the holy names of the Lord or the love of Godhead? No, that is not the qualification. That's not, austerity is not the qualification. Celibacy is not the qualification to be in the, pure pastimes of the Lord. So please send him away. And then what if Mahaprabhu insists what to do? Okay, send him away. He was going. But what is the thought process of that brahmachari? He could just hear the beginning of the kirtan. Mahaprabhu started the kirtan and stopped. So that brahmachari was very grateful. Oh, I'm so grateful to Srivas Pandit that he allowed me to take at least, half a minute of the darshan of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing and then hearing that kirtan. I'm very grateful to Srivas Pandit. And Mahaprabhu is like the Paramatma in everybody's heart. Mahaprabhu understood the gratitude of that milk drinking brahmachari. And he said, oh, you are grateful to Srivas Pandit? That is the qualification. Very good. Come inside. So that's the thing. I am a celibate. I am a strict follower of principles. I tick mark all the boxes. That is not the qualification for mercy. Mercy is again gratitude towards the devotees, gratitude towards the heart. And Lord is purchased by that particular attitude. So in this particular pastime of milk drinking brahmachari, again this is exhibited how Lord gets conquered with that particular attitude of gratitude. And then there are so many other pastimes, we are running out of time. Once Mahaprabhu, Shiva's Pandit's son left in the kirtan. Son passed away, and Mahaprabhu and everybody were morose. Shiva's Pandit said to all the ladies, please keep quiet. Mahaprabhu is dancing. Don't disturb him. And Mahaprabhu understood something is happening. Asked Shivas, what is happening? And then people told Shiva's Pandit's son left. And then Mahaprabhu went. Then he asked the son, wake up. The son woke up. And then he started speaking. And then he expressed gratitude to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then Shivas Pandit, and then he left. And then that time, Mahaprabhu said, Shivas, myself and Nityanand Prabhu are like your sons. No, don't think you're abandoned. So this is what Lord also takes reciprocates. He takes care of the people. There's one pastime in Agradweep. So there are like famous Kirtanis, three brothers. And then one of them, he didn't have any son and then everything. He was worried. After my departure, who will keep Shraddha for me? So that, I can receive all the pious credits. So Lord promised that don't worry, I will keep the Shraddha. And then, so till now, in the Agradip festival, it happens. Lord is the son of that particular great devotee. So here also Mahaprabhu said, himself and then Nityanand Prabhu are like sons of Srivas Pandit. Yeah, and then Srivas Pandit's dedication is that once he asked, Srivas, how do you survive? Because I don't see you hardly working. And Srivas said that I'll just clap 3 times, and then whatever is required will come. And if it doesn't come, I'll just tie a stone to my neck, around my neck, and then I'll jump in Ganga. Because I know that my Lord will provide for me. So that particular faith he had. And then Mahaprabhu hearing that, he said that even in the case if Lakshmi, loses all her opulence and goes begging, it may happen, but you will never become poor. You will always be supplied. That's what Mahaprabhu said. So that much amount of faith Srivas has. Of course, that is in that particular the age. Like we have our own set of recommendations by our mentors, our spiritual master, and then in order to maintain this movement. So, but to summarize, Srivas is a very exalted example for all the living entities. Foremost amongst the living entities. And then in his house in Mayapur is the place where lot of intimate pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are revealed, and then lot of mercy is given to all the devotees, and then lot of lessons. Shivas Pandit also was many times humiliated, by others, but how he tolerated, how he respected, and then what sort of gratitude he expressed. And then how connecting to Shivas Pandit, lot of devotees got mercy. So these are the examples we can take from the life of Shivas Pandit. Thank you all so much for your patient hearing. Any comments or any corrections? Kindly share.
Thank you, Krsna Daya Prabhu. Okay, we have some people in the temple room. Would anyone in the temple room like to speak? Do you have a question, or maybe you'd like to share a reflection?
Hare Krishna, good morning. Can you hear us?
Yes, bro.
Yes, bro. Wonderful class. You have a very soothing tone because your mind is very peaceful and satisfied just to glorify the Lord. So we find ourselves relaxing and basking in the sunshine of how you're so delighted and very smoothly presenting all this. We had a similar experience yesterday. Madan Gopal gave class, and I've been up all night. I was struggling to stay awake, so I watched the class on YouTube again last night, and I found that it was so nourishing and so powerful and so rich uh, in wisdom that I would listen to one or two sentences and then stop and just try to take it in. His Satang Prasangan Mamavirya Bamido Bhavantarikana Rishayana Gata. It says like a discourse given by someone who actually loves God, a pure devotee, is very pleasing to the ear and soothing to the heart. To hear the truth, because in this world, there's very little glorification of the Lord. The New York Times now, I think it costs $10 for the newspaper on Sunday, right? There's nothing in there about God, absolutely nothing. So we are conditioned for all this mind candy, all this cheap stimulation talk, but to actually hear some discourse about a saint, about love of God. And one really reflection we have from what you said, that you may see someone suffering in this world. Actually, everyone is bound for death, looking forward to their next bowel movement or something, just not a whole lot to look forward to as death is coming. But you may want to benefit them by giving them a bunch of money and trying to give them something comfortable. But unless we give someone access to the service of God, all these other things, it's like getting an extra pillow on the Titanic. You want a bigger room or another drink, but the ship is going down. You got to get off the boat. So our real benefits for other people is to glorify the Lord and give them a chance to do some service, and then they'll be free from birth and death. Anyway, thank you very much for your class, and I can't help but glorify Madan Gopal. Really, there's no other explanation for you or him than that your spiritual master is empowering you. Conscious about to blow. Today, Radhanath Swami is initiating 60 different new devotees from ceremony. So we're looking forward to hearing from him. Here comes the conch shell. The deities are about to open. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Sorry to talk so long.
Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Krsna Daya Prabhu ki jai. Adokshaja Prabhu ki jai. Darshan time. Cameras on, please, if you can.
Oh, wonderful. Every day, different people blow that conch, and every day it's different. So cool. Lots of love. Yeah.
By His grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my constitution by the way. Attachment to the lotus feet is to perfection that fulfills all desire. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with chastity. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From the ecstatic flame I elevate. Within His scripture singers terror. Our spiritual master, ocean of mercy, friend of the poor, Lord and master, devotees, all masters, merciful to us. They will all over 3 worlds. Take shelter of those. Srila Prabhupada, key.
Thank you, Janitai Prabhu. Arjuna Prabhu, Ki Jai. Thank you. Welcome to the Afterglow. Krsna Daya Prabhu, are you here? Okay. All right. Jeffrey Prabhu, where are you going?
I am driving to Philadelphia right now to get my my 2 little ones for beginning a summer celebration.
Sweet.
But I
Nice.
do have a question. I have a question that is
Who's your
related.
question for? Who's your question for? How about Mathura
It was
Nath Prabhu? Can you trust
probably
him? Yeah. Okay.
yes. Hare Krishna. No, as Krishna Daya was speaking and he was talking about the magnanimous compassion of Mahaprabhu, I was thinking about, how how I feel it or how that kind of how I can understand that. And one of the things that I often question is my compassion, is it compassion or is it pity? And then am I like self-aggrandizing or puffed up by thinking, oh well, I'm in a better place, so I got to be compassionate towards this other person because they're in a worse place. And you know, so how do we guard ourselves against egotistical compassion and like slipping into that piteous attitude, which is not necessarily the same thing, right?
Yeah,
Hare
great
Krishna.
question.
That's
Great
the
question. Yeah. Mathura Nath Prabhu, what are your thoughts on this?
Haribo. Yeah, beautiful question. My limited understanding, realization on this. A Vaishnava always thinks oneself lower than others, and not from a insecure place, but actually thinking others are getting more mercy than I am, but and I want to, and because they have more mercy, because they're great, I want to serve them. I'm their servant. I want to give them Krishna's blessing everyone. I want to give them, I want to serve them. And actually one thing I realized we can think we're greater, or sometimes we can even feel like, oh, I'm lower, so I'm insecure. We can think when we go amongst devotees, oh, they're more advanced than me, so they're going to shower me with love. They're going to shower me with grace. So I want to, yes, I am lower than them. They have more advancement than me. And then also, yeah, the opposite is, no, I'm not greater than anyone. Krishna's blessing everyone. They're parts and parcels of Krishna, and Krishna's gracing everyone. And when we get off of this more um, material sense of I'm this, I'm that. And no, everyone is this beautiful part and parcel of Krishna. And they're loved by Krishna. And so we can think this person is loved by Krishna. Let me try to serve them. And then we get off of this comparison or ego or insecurity. And yeah, it's profound when we can start thinking on the spiritual level and not more the material level of where we size people up, or we compare, or we think we're there's something wrong with me or something wrong with another. I don't know. Does that address your question?
Hare Krishna Matornath, your spiritual master is inspiring you. That is a beautiful answer, and I really like. I mean, it doesn't matter if I like it, I guess, or not, but I feel like it's appropriate, and I feel like it's very insightful. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we should think spiritually. I was driving my Guru Maharaj to the airport this time, and I asked a question like, Maharaj, what do you read for your light read? Like maybe Chasing Rhinos with the Swan. I mean, I didn't name any of the books. I just said, what do you read for like when you need to maybe relax a little bit at night or something? And he said, Ananda Bihari, I am a spiritualist. He said it like that. I'm a spiritualist. Maybe, and then, apparently he thought I meant some mundane thing. But I said, no, no, Maharaj, I meant spiritual books, maybe Chasing Rhinos. I said, and we talked about that. So yeah, we want to we aspire to think spiritually, and being compassionate to others, like Maturnath Prabhu said, doesn't mean looking down upon them. Just to add to what Maturnath Prabhu said, a great part of being compassionate for us, junior devotees, is being patient with other devotees. Maybe that's how compassion translates for us. Just being patient with the devotees. If we see somebody struggling, maybe even spiritually, we show compassion by understanding that this is a temporary difficulty. Let me, he or she, they're gonna overcome this. Krishna is working in their life, and Krishna knows what they're doing. We think like that, always favorable. Vaishnava is always favorable.
Another thing
Yeah.
of compassion as well. I was contemplating this morning is that um, to have austerity of speech, where we're always talking about Krishna or our spiritual realizations, or something that's spiritually oriented. And when we're just having grammar kata, we're having this other kata that's about the material world, about what's going on, what are you doing in the material world. We're actually not being so compassionate, because people are, of course, asked to, like, how are you? Oh, you're good, okay. But I was hearing Vaisheshika Prabhu. He said, I don't like to get into all this, like, how you doing, what you doing. It's like, let's read a verse together.
Yeah.
Let's read a verse. And then let's discuss the verse. And this actually is compassionate, because and I was even thinking we go beyond that. If we're thinking, okay, as married couples or whatever, partners, yeah, let's be let's be sexual together. Okay, that's not compassion on your partner, because if you're agitated or agitating them, you're actually becoming more in the conception, I'm the body, instead of let's talk about Krishna. Let's dive into the Bhagavatam right now. Let's spend our time chanting. What's really happening for you? What's your realization? This is compassionate. Um, and this can be practiced in so many levels of just reminding others about Krishna or what's really happening in your world internally. We're human beings. We're not human doings. Instead of what are you doing? What's really happening in your heart? What's your struggle? Let's let's be authentic. Let's dive into that. And people really appreciate when we can enter their world. We may not be talking about Krishna book, but they may need to talk about, like, yeah, I'm really having a hard time in this way or this area of my life, and we can be there and understand, and then even share some perspective.
Thank you, Maturnath Prabhu. We always ask audience to ask pertinent questions, and Krishna Chandra Prabhu asked the other day, "What's an impertinent question? What is it?" And Maturnath Prabhu described it perfectly. How are you? Where are you from? What are you going through? Who are you voting for? Who do you support? Yeah, we have to ask real questions and show true compassion by fanning the spark in everyone. That's true compassion. Fanning the spark. Quoting Vaisheshika Prabhu. Min has her hand up.
Thank you. Wanted to share something about coming to a little bit of understanding of compassion. First time I went to India, I went to Puri, and I think we were going to a temple or something, and we encountered a huge cow. So this story is not directed towards people, but just something maybe different but similar. So we saw this cow sitting on the beach, and it almost felt like the cow was put there for us to all witness. It had condition where entire of his body looked like it's been scored in tight grid with X-Acto knife, and it was bleeding. And it was just amazingly intense thing to see. And I was so confronted and upset and just I was so disturbed. I didn't know what to do with it. First, I felt bad and I didn't, I thought, got upset. Why isn't anyone doing anything about this poor animal? While we're, singing kirtan, and everyone just passing by. I just never seen anything like it. So it really disturbed me. So I spoke to a teacher, and it's actually Dhanadhar Swami who told me this, because I asked him, I don't know how to see God in this situation. So how do I see beyond it? I don't know what to do about it. And he said, it's not a matter of seeing beyond it or beyond anything. It's a matter of seeing reality in its totality. And I think about that still. And I think like this is going to something that it's going to unravel throughout my life. And recently I've been thinking about it. And what I get from that comment is that there's part of me in thinking, oh, poor animal, what can I do? Why isn't anybody doing anything? I thought I was being maybe compassionate toward this being, but I detect that part of the reason I was upset was because I couldn't deal with it and I didn't want to see it. And I wanted to be peaceful by not having to deal with it. And to see, so when I hear to see reality in its totality, I get the sense that I am to see this being and of its essential nature, the eternal soul that is, who is in the journey. So when I think that way, I could actually feel a lot of respect for this suffering being. And even though I can't materially do anything for it, I do feel love for that soul. So yeah, it's a big lesson. And hopefully it's something that would get deeper throughout my life.
Thank you, Min. I really loved the point you made, how Krishna is not
Hold on, I got.
uh, beyond anything. He's not obscured. He's not hiding. He's not shadowed. He's right there. And Bhima Prabhu is probably looking at the flower right now, seeing Krishna's beautiful cheeks. Right, Bhima Prabhu? You're the one who sees Krishna everywhere. I was
Yeah,
complimenting Bhima.
I wish, Prabhu. I wish. Let me see if I can remember. I'm late to class, so I have no right. I never really have a right to speak, so that's why I interject. But I was late for class, so I have no right to speak on this. But I will say this, just practically speaking, in regards to taking care of those who are suffering, whether it be a cow or a person, a friend, going through a hard time, somebody with a broken heart, somebody had a great loss. We are human beings, but devotional service is a doing thing. Um, we do have to be present. Bruce Lee used to say, "Stillness and movement." And I never knew what that was, especially when I fought in college. I didn't understand stillness and movement. What does that mean? It's this ability to be present and yet active. So you get the being and the doing at once, which is what devotional service is. You're being present with Krishna, but while you're doing something for him and his devotees. And in regards to a practical way in which to do that, let's say that cow was in that condition. Well, there's no reason why, in the future, because we're all going to come upon some suffering. So there's a whole lot of suffering coming right around the corner, by the way, people. We are going, we stop and we chant and spend time with that being. Instead of just people walking by, you actually stop and you kneel down and you talk. Or if you can't get close to the animal because it's feral, like we got foxes, we got coyotes, we got deer coming in and out of the woods and stuff. Lots of death, lots of life, and everything. But I've seen some suffering, and what can you do about it? You can chant the holy name. You can stop and call out the holy name to that creature, and spend time with that creature. And trust me, as a person who's around animals, there's people inside those skins. Prabhupada said these are persons. Radhanath Swami's always calls these animals around us persons. Um, Even in 26 Second Avenue, we all remember that thing when somebody said, Prabhupada, there's a roach crawling up the. What do we do? There's a roach crawling up the column here in 26 Second Avenue. And Prabhupada said, chant to the roach, right? To the roach, like they were like, do we kill it? What do we do? Do we try to capture it? And he's like, no, chant to the roach. So you can imagine if you start on that level, that all day long, you have a chance to help the suffering simply by the use of the holy name, that Krishna, like that entity is going to hear those words, and we have to have faith that that name will do this, will be the beginning of that animal's spiritual life. Assuming, of course, that animal wasn't me in a past life. But anyways, yeah, that's what I took from it. Wonderful question, Min, and wonderful, very poignant example you gave. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for that, Bhima. That's so helpful. Right. I didn't know that that was a possibility when I was there. I was so new. But yeah, I'll remember that.
Roaches do not have ears, but they can sense vibration. So if we chant to a roach, it has to be loud, and bring some mridanga so they can hear the vibration. There's an organ on the bottom of their abdomen with which they can hear the vibration. Just a little practical tip.
You know a surprising lot about roaches, Prabhu.
I am one. I am one.
Like
Yeah.
you and Kafka.
I'm preparing for my next life. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to be a roach on your farm.
No, on the altar. You stay hidden,
And
and then
Pujari.
when the ladus come out, you just go snag it before Krishna gets to it,
Yeah,
or you
yeah.
wait until Krishna gets to it and then you snag it.
Yeah, yeah. I'll be very
Yeah,
polite, Pujari wrote. Yeah.
waving your antenna like yak's whisks
Yeah, I'll be
or
waving my
incense.
antennas
Yeah.
like a devotee, left and right and left and right. Yeah. Cool. Okay, let's move on. We have Narottam Nitai Prabhu followed by Mathurnath Prabhu.
Dhanavad, yeah, I'll try to make it quick, Prabhuji. Yeah, I really like how simple, just being grateful and like the simpleness of that, and seeing the mercy of the devotees, and appreciating uh all the bhavs and all the rasas and all the knowledge and wisdom the devotees have is so amazing. I mean, especially in Mahaprabhu's Leela, the different nuances of emotion and devotion that the devotees show, and how that can how we can actually. I've learned to do this. Like sometimes it happens almost naturally. Like if there's something going on, I can translate my actions into Krishna consciousness, like dovetail my thinking into Krishna consciousness, and therefore just slip into just chanting Hare Krishna where if I'm just walking or something, and it's happening more and more naturally. I'm really happy about that. Last thing I wanted to say, I remember seeing a YouTube video of I forget Maharaj's name, but he's stationed in South India. But anyways, he had mentioned about he had asked Elon Musk or something. It's in a YouTube video, just a YouTube video, like a advertisement to try to prove the concept of reincarnation. So I don't know. I'm just saying, like, just being grateful for devotees for all the different things that they're doing is really important, and this whole concept of bridge preaching um is really nuanced way, because so many ideas are coming to me. I should really write them down, because I'm one person. I don't know if I can do them all, but like, even like, I was just thinking, I was just tell you one idea, like 5Ks. Like there's a lot of people, a lot of organizations that organize 5Ks. I was thinking, after the 5K, let's just have a kirtan and distribute books for all the people running, and that can be like a full-time service for those book distributors, a few times a month. So anyways, just ideas. Hare Krishna, back to you. I don't want to take more time.
Thank you, Narottam Nitai Prabhu. You come up with great ideas always. Engineer's mind. Okay, Mathurnath Prabhu, please.
Yeah, I'm done.
I quick little story, and then I had something from class. In when I was in Vrindavan last a year, a little bit over a year ago,
I
just
can't hear
just
you.
outside of Radhakund's. Oh, you can't hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah,
Oh,
Dima
that's
Prabhu. He sounded intoxicated a little bit. Did you hear it?
that was one of his horses speaking to him. Um, um, there was a cow. It was very beautiful. There was a cow. Um, it entered into one of the entryway to um, one of the temples, and it was taking darshan, and it was just sitting there looking at Radha and Krishna, and it was just staring there and motionless. And we all gathered around this cow, and we could see it was, I mean, this was a devotee taking darshan. Um, so it's just, I don't know why, but Min talked about this cow, but there's the opposite of, oh my God, I remember this cow taking darshan, and just, it was standing there and wouldn't take its eyes off of the altar, and Radha and Krishna on the altar. It was very profound. And we were around it, just kind of getting the dust of its lotus feet. We were all like petting it and taking the dust from its hooves, and and hugging it, because it's like, this is an advanced soul, probably, who needed to take its birth as a cow and is going to go back to Godhead in this after this life. So that was very profound. Something I just wanted to bring up from class, which was really, I was amazed. He said that being grateful to the devotees and truly like taking shelter with gratitude of them is actually more important than following principles. That was very amazing statement. Of course, both are important. We have to try to follow principles, but the highlighting of actually being grateful and seeing the good in other devotees, especially advanced devotees, more advanced than us. Wow, what an amazing point. And I actually, in all vulnerability, I see my lower self sometimes starting to try to even see faults in my spiritual master. And I'm like, stop it. What are you doing? Knock it off. Get out of here. No, look at all this stuff he's doing. What are you like? What are you doing? This is insanity. And it's in this age we have the lower side and the higher side in the same body. It's said the demon, the devotee, and it can be we can start to criticize. We can start to see, even imagine faults in other devotees, because we have that fault ourselves. Because it says you see it, you got it. So I just that was an amazing point, really having that sincere gratitude and appreciate. I think he used the word appreciation. When one is appreciating, one appreciated Mahaprabhu and the kirtan. This I think he was a milk drinking brahmachari. He was just fasting on milk, and then because he appreciated Srivas, then Mahaprabhu said, okay, bring him in. First he was like, no, I don't want him in here. He's just performing this milk austerity. I'm not interested. But then he appreciated, he had appreciation for Srivas Thakur. Then Lord Chaitanya, he appreciates my devotee. So here's a very important point. If we appreciate Krishna's devotees, Krishna says, you're appreciating them. Come closer to me. I just
Thank
wanted
you.
to highlight that point.
Thank you. Uh, to appreciate, Vaisheshika Prabhu says, what appreciates. In other words, what you appreciate rises in value. That's the other meaning of the word. What appreciates, something like that. So Vaisheshika Prabhu's name comes up a lot in class, which is wonderful. Great. Okay, Karen, are you ready? Is Isaiah ready? We want to make sure he's loud enough for all the cockroaches to hear. If you have, do you have any cockroaches in the house you're selling? Make sure it's loud. Annabelle, Annabelle, Isaiah, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for the. What's that? What's that? Please give us some purport. Who's the devotee?
I'm still thinking about it. But they're serving Jagannath Baladev and Subhadra.
Wonderful, wonderful, beautiful. So we need a name for this devotee. How about Krishna Das?
Okay.
Wonderful. Okay. Have a wonderful Friday weekend. We love you. We need you. Hare Krishna. Thank you.